Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. That came from the chair. Uh, Actually, I thought I was already recording. I pushed the button. Nothing happened. Welcome back to Based on TV Month. Uh, we're talking about the Green Hornet movie from 2011. One of two movies from 2011 with the name Green in it that did not do very good. I just realized that just now. Yeah, so I'm not particularly too familiar with the Green Hornet, obviously. I was born in the 80s, so, I knew of it, and I had seen the episodes of Batman the Animated Series that they show up in, him and Kato. And I'd heard about this Green Hornet character, this Green Hornet movie, and it was coming out. And I always saw that it was, the Green Hornet was like a Dick Tracy type character. He's a crime fighter. He's like Batman and Dick Tracy, even a sidekick, but he's got a little fedora, he's fighting crime and all that. And then they announced that Seth Rogen was playing him, and I went, what? Really? Yeah, this movie stars Seth Rogen. It was written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. But somehow is more serious than any of their previous efforts. They wrote, I think that they wrote This Is the End, and they wrote Pineapple Express. I guess they were trying to be serious, but I don't know. There's some pretty decent actors in this. David Harbour blew my mind when I saw him. I'm like, what? He plays a district attorney named Scanlon. I'm like, that's David Harbour? 2011. 5 years before Stranger Things was a thing. Christoph Waltz in an early appearance. I don't know if he did anything before this, but maybe Inglourious Bastards, which I know I have to get to, but that was his breakout role. But he's the villain, Chudnovsky or Bloodnovsky. Also, Cameron Diaz is here for some reason. So, Seth Rogen plays Britt Reed. Yes, Britt Reed. It's a girl's name. It's my sister's name. Britt. I always thought it was Brett, but no, it's Britt. It's my sister's name. Why does he have a girl's name? Who, after the death of his father, leads him to fighting crime, sorta, kinda. This is one of the most unconventional superhero movies I've ever seen. How he becomes a crime fighter makes no sense to me. Because it starts out, he destroys his dad's statue because he hates his dad so much. That leads to a tussle with some criminals, and they decide, oh hey, let's fight crime because that was fun. And that's just what happens. Now, I know this is from the show, so it's based on a radio show, but it became a TV show. I know the TV show, they were, shown to be criminals, but they were secretly good guys, but for some reason they did like that. And I don't know about back then, but to me, it just doesn't maybe it's all comic books frame their heroes as villains. Look at Spider-Man, and Batman is often said he's a vigilante and not a part of the we do that, and it's just okay, but they're purposely framing themselves as criminals. They're taking out all these drug houses, and they're purposely framing it, and hey, tell your boss the Green Hornet sends his regards. They're moving in on their territory, which is, I don't know. And this movie starts out with a flashback that, I don't know, we see a little kid version of Britt Reed talking to his father, played by Tom Wilkinson, who was in The Dark Knight, by the way, and he's talking to his kid. This scene, I was watching this and I went, what? Who tells their kid this? So, apparently, Britt got in trouble at school because he stood up to a bully and was fighting, and he got in trouble fighting. Because that's what happens, right? A bully picks on you or your friends, and you're the one that gets in trouble for fighting back because fighting is bad. But the bully doesn't get in trouble at all. They get off scot-free, but you get in trouble for fighting. And his dad goes off on him. He's like, I was trying to help someone. You don't need to do that. Don't do that. Basically, is what he says. And he rips the head off this not Superman doll. Even though, technically, according to the TV series, they should exist in the same universe because he worked with Batman. Then Superman should also exist in this universe. But this is Sony owned, so maybe they should have used Spider-Man. I don't know. But this is not, not a DC property. It's based on a TV show. So maybe there was comic books. I don't know. But so yeah. And then we flash forward, and all of the believability of Seth Rogen playing this main character is sucked out because they decided to make him a womanizer. I do not believe for 1 second that Seth Rogen could be a womanizer. There's no way a schlub like him, coming from a fellow schlub, could get... He's sleeping in bed with 2 women. Bullshit. It's gotta be the money, right? It's gotta be the money. Right, he gets another argument with his dad. Oh, you're lazy. Yeah, well, you told him not to do anything, basically. The whole thing he's yelling at him at the beginning of this was basically telling him never to amount to anything at all. And so you're now pissed because that's what he has amounted to is nothing like you told him to. Well, then it turns out Daddy dies from supposedly a bee sting. And I'm sitting here going, it's like, oh, he died from a bee sting. I'm like, so he's murdered, right? That is the dumbest way to kill off a character. That even Ray Charles would tell you, man, that's stupid. He was obviously murdered. I don't know. It just, I don't know. Like, there's got to be some big reveal he was murdered by someone. Yeah. There's a district attorney named Scanlon who's trying to work in taking care of the crimes and stuff like that. We also meet villains. There are villains. It's weird because it starts off with the flashback and then cuts to the villains. And I'm like, is this back then or not? Because we see James Franco, and probably one of the last times he'll work with Seth Rogen. No, there was more after this, but like Seth Rogen has said he's done after the charges, the assault charges or whatever. But like, he's a crime boss guy, and Edward Furlong is also in this movie. And he works for this guy named Chudnovsky, who's played by Christoph Waltz, who's good, but his one joke is that people think he sucks. So he keeps trying to change his image. Chudnovsky, you're a bad drug dealer guy, and he puts on a red suit. I'm Bloodanovsky, and he walks around with a gas mask, and yeah. So after the death of his father, he takes over the thing and he fires everyone, but then complains that his coffee tastes terrible. And that's because they fired Kato, which is the character's actual name. And I'm like, I thought that was a code name. No, apparently it's his actual name, and they spend the entire movie trying to figure out what a code name for him should be. And I don't know if maybe he had a real name in the show or the radio show or what, and they just said we're just gonna call him Kato and make jokes about his name, the red hippo, the blue, I don't know. So he fired everyone, but there's still someone there at the house to tell him that he fired everyone. So he didn't fire everyone. Make up your mind, movie. So it brings Kato back, makes some coffee. He's also a mechanic, and they become friends. And that's when they go and destroy the statue. They decide we need to become crime fighters, apparently. And also, Britt owns the local newspaper, the Daily, whatever it's called. Why do all these newspapers need to have Daily in their name? The Daily Planet, the Daily Beagle, and the Daily this one. Where he still wants to be in charge, so now I guess he's trying to be something. I don't know. But he gets a new temporary assistant named Lenore, who last name is Case. It was called Casey in the show, but they just call her Lenore. She's played by Cameron Diaz, and what I thought was her last role before she left, but she's a bad teacher and sex tape after this. So she was still going, I guess. And then she just recently came back with that new one, Look Who's Back, or Back in Action, I think it's called. Not the Looney Tunes one, but actually, she would have made the Looney Tunes one better, because her and Brendan Fraser would have had some kind of chemistry, I think. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, she's there. They make a joke about her age, and it is true, she does look old for her age, but here's the thing. So she looks old for her age here, and she was 39, which is close to my age, which is 38. Don't look that bad. She was a smoker, but weirdly enough, I've seen what she looks like now, and it's like, well, they make fun of how she looks old. She must have stopped aging, because she looked in her 40s at least, in her mid-40s here. Now she's 54, and she looks about the same. So, I don't know. She stopped aging at some point. And I, for one, think it's ironic that someone like Seth Rogen is making jokes about someone's appearance. Because, look in the mirror, pal. Yes, I know he lost a little weight to do this movie because no one would find him believable as the Green Hornet if he was still fat. But still no one finds him believable, so I don't know. And they even double on that with the characterization. He sucks. Kato does everything. He makes the cars, the weapons. He does the crime fighting. Everything. Yeah, but here's the thing. So they go through, like I said, they go through this movie. They destroy a bunch of drug buildings, drug houses. And they kill people in the process. But then, at one point, he hands them a gas gun, which he knocks himself out for 11 days. And then Kato fixes it to only be an hour, and he knocks Kato out. Because that's the joke. But, like, why is he gassing? Even he says, why can't I have a gun? And I'm like, yeah, why? I could see maybe the gas gun was for the TV show because no violence. Because Batman never used guns on the show. There was never really any guns, any kind of weapons. You look at Batman animated series. Any kind of weapon they'd use was gas. You know, it was gas related. Even the Penguin, known for shooting bullets out of his umbrella, would use gas. So, yeah, if that was a nod to the TV series, that's fine. Keep in mind, they'd already killed at least 20 to 30 people by now. So what the hell does the gas gun mean now? I don't know. He does use it. Eventually, it's revealed that Scanlon is crooked, something not taken from the TV show, and I imagine fans of this show, much like the fans of Mission Impossible, got pissed. And I'm a little frustrated myself because, look, I'll concede that the twist at Mission Impossible worked. Because it's one of those, you'll never see the guy that's supposed to be the good guy from the show. But when Peter Graves is telling you to fuck off, he's not even going to reprise his role, you know you messed up, but you still went through with it. Jon Voight was great for that role, by the way. It was still kind of obvious, too. But here, they don't even tease you with it. From the very first scene that David Harbour shows up, you know he's a bad guy. So it's not even a twist like they did with that. It's just like people who are fans of the show are going to watch this and go, why is he a bad guy? because he was like an ally to the Green Hornet in the show. He was one of the only ones who knew the Green Hornet was a good guy. He was an ally, like Lenore. And yet, no. They made him the bad guy. But he gets ran off the roof anyway. There's this whole scene. So, this scene always frustrates me when they do this in movies. So, at one point, Britt goes to dinner with Scanlan. Scanlan basically lives out his entire plan, confesses to what he was doing, and he later confesses after this that he killed. I don't know why they didn't just do the confession of killing him before he revealed it. But it's like, now the whole conversation, then she reveals he's a bad guy, and then, like a dumbass, and this happens in so many movies, haha, I recorded you. Why do they always reveal to the villains' faces that they have secretly recorded them? All you have to do is record them and then leave. Say you record it, have the confession, he goes, I will think on it. Then you leave. And then you have the recording and you stick it in, revealing he is crooked. Why do every movie and TV show that does this have them taunt about it? Ha, I recorded you. And he's like, well, now I have to kill you like I killed your father. My father was killed by a bee sting. And this is the first time I heard it was a bee sting, and I went, they told you it was a bee sting and you believed it? That is the dumbest way for someone to die. He's allergic to bees, just like Brett is. And he's like, well, I can take you out just like I took out your old man. But then Kato shows up, and it's revealed that they organized Kato, or the Green Hornet, to kill Britt. And I'm like, but you just said you were... Why didn't you just poison... Why didn't you just hit him with the dart like you did the dad? Why are you making this so convoluted? I get it, they want to frame the Green Hornet. Sure. But you just said that he has the same allergy as his father. All you need to do is go, and then he'll flop down. And you go, oh no, something's wrong. He's having an allergic reaction. Something's happening. And you're scot-free. You're a district attorney. You can get yourself off. Like, hey, I don't know. We were eating, something happened. You had a, they're going to still have bee sting, but there can be bees floating around, I guess. I don't know. But no, they do this. And at this point, I got to rewind because during most of the movie, Britt is hitting on Lenore and she does not return her feelings. But it turns out, because we got to be cliche, that she and Kato have a thing going on of some sort. Nothing romantic, really. Just sort of a friendship, I guess. So he gets all pissed. And, of course, we have a breakup. It's the middle of the movie breakup, not third act breakup. But we have a breakup. And here he apologizes to him. He says, I forgive you. And then this starts the whole chase down. So I'm watching this. Like, oh, we got to get this to the newspaper. They're like, do we go home? No, I got to go to the newspaper. And I'm like, well, going home would be stupid. But also going straight to the newspaper is also stupid. You need to lose them first before anything. But they don't. They just run there and they have this fight. And then I didn't realize this was the climax to the goddamn movie, too. Bloodanovsky shows up. And Britt starts using the gas gun. Of course, he's got a gas mask on, so it doesn't affect him. Bloodanovsky. But then Bloodanovsky is killed when he stabs through both of his eyes with two chair legs. And then they run over. This is how Scanlan dies. Because it turns out he didn't actually record him. Which makes that entire scene in the diner completely useless, but whatever. So they decide, fuck it, and run him over with half of the car off the top of the building, and they both survive except for Scanlan, who was, of course, killed. And then we're not done yet, because then the cops are now chasing them, and they end up finding their way to Lenore's apartment, and she's all pissed when she finds out. And we're still complaining about the romance thing, which is not really romance. So they had to come up with an idea. So the next day, Britt gives the newspaper to Edward James Olmos, who was sort of the editor-in-chief, the second in command. So now he's first in command. And then they stage him being shot by Kato, courtesy of the Green Hornet. The Green Hornet sends their regards to shoot him in the shoulder because Britt was shot in the shoulder by the cops. So they're gonna know if he goes to the hospital that. But so they got away with but they go get fixed now. But I'm like, but sir, the doctors will be able to tell it's not a fresh wound. They're like, oh, this is like a couple days old. I thought you said he got shot today. I did. I got shot today. Hurts like hell. That's a little bit of a convoluted ending. This is the ending of the movie, by the way. That's how it ends. I didn't realize it was the end. I'm like, because in my eyes, I thought, oh, they got rid of Scanlon, but Chudnovsky's still out there. No, because I missed that part. I had to rewind it. But yeah, that's how the movie ends. They're like, oh, we're gonna keep doing this, and yeah, so that's it. There was supposed to be a sequel, but they took it off the docket because this movie did not do very good. Yeah. I'll give it a middle of the road. It was fine. I just, I don't know. I guess, maybe, if Seth Rogen wasn't the lead, it maybe would have worked better. Get a serious actor to do this, because with Seth Rogen in the lead, it just, like, Seth Rogen says, oh, I'm going to do this movie, and then they not make it as comedic as they could. Like, this could be a decent comedy. It's even down as an action comedy, or a superhero comedy, or whatever. The comedy is very few and far between for me. They make some jokes, but they're not that funny. Not that Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg jokes are that funny to begin with, but, at least Danny McBride wasn't in this. Although, I could see him playing the Franco Road too. He's like, hey, you know who I am? I'm a hardcore motherfucking drug dealer. You don't mess with me, and I don't shoot you in your fucking legs, okay? Something like that, right? Also, PG-13. Which is fine. You want a wider audience. I don't think you would have been able to do a rated R movie. But when I think Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, I don't think PG-13. So maybe that's why it was nerfed. They toned it way down. I don't know. It's a middle of the road. It's not what I'm going to go back to. And actually, I watched this once. So here's my backstory with this. I watched it once. I rented it. Watched it. Thought it was okay. I think I actually watched it twice. I think I remember watching it with my grandma. And then I watched it, I think, with the Groby? I don't know. Maybe. And then nothing. And then I found it at... I'm going to bring it up. I gotta show you. So I found this at Family Video. Hence the printed off cover. Right? Printed off cover. And it's a 3D one. And they're like, oh, so you just want the 3D. I'm like, actually, I prefer the regular one. Because I don't have a 3D player. I know it would still work. I'd just rather have the... Because you can put a 3D Blu-ray in a regular Blu-ray player, I think. It'll just play regular. But, like... Maybe, I don't know. I try it with that Paranormal Activity one. That is the Fender. This is back when they were still doing clever things with... Sony did this for a while. I think it's only recent that they started to get lazy with their things. Like an amazing 3D. I have heard the 3D is good despite that it's converted, but I don't know. But yeah, and then I bought it, and it sat on the shelf since about 2012, 2013, whenever I bought it, when I still got that video, do those. It was like 5 for $5 or something like that. I don't know, 5 for 10, 5 for 5 deals. This is one of them. Yeah, I bought it and I never watched it. I did that with quite a few of the movies that I bought. But I had seen them before. This is ones I've seen before. I'm getting it cheaper than I could get it from the store, so yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the Green Hornet? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.